The story of the Roosevelt dime in 1978 begins long before that year even arrived because the coin's journey is deeply tied to American history monetary change and the legacy of President Franklin Delano Roosevelt. To understand the place of the 1978 dime, we first look back to 1946 when the Roosevelt dime series was introduced as a tribute to the president who led the nation through the Great Depression and World War II and who was closely connected to the March of Dimes campaign, which aimed to fight polio. By 1978, the design created decades earlier by John R. Sinek had already become a familiar piece of American pocket change, showing Roosevelt's profile on the obverse with the word liberty, the motto, "In God we trust," the mint mark, and the date, while the reverse displayed the torch flanked by an olive branch and an oak branch symbolizing liberty, peace, and strength. Even though the basic design remained unchanged by 1978, the history behind the coin and the conditions at the United States Mint had evolved in many important ways. As the nation moved through the 1970s, the mint was experiencing a period of modernization. After the Coinage Act of 1965 removed silver from circulating dimes, the composition of the Roosevelt dime had settled into the clad construction made of copper and nickel. By 1978, this clad design was well established, and Americans were fully accustomed to the lighter weight and different feel compared to the earlier silver dimes. The 1970s were also a time of rapid economic changes marked by inflation and fluctuating metal prices, which made base metal coinage more important than ever. The mint had to produce billions of coins to meet the demands of a growing economy, and the Roosevelt dime remained one of the most widely used denominations in daily transactions. The facilities at Philadelphia and Denver handled the bulk of dime production in 1978, and collectors today often search for differences in strike quality between coins from the two mints. The year 1978 itself saw strong mintage numbers reflecting America's busy economy. Philadelphia produced a substantial number of dimes without a mint mark, while Denver produced its own large run marked with the letter D. Although there were no major design changes for the 1978 dime, the quality of the strike surfaces and luster varied depending on the die condition and production speed. Collectors often look for well-struck examples, especially those showing full details in Roosevelt's hair and the torch flame lines. These coins in high grades can be surprisingly desirable because coins meant for circulation were not handled with collector care. Many 1978 dimes became worn through everyday use, so finding near-perfect examples requires careful searching. During this period, the United States Mint was also refining its proof coin production for collectors. Proof sets were made at the San Francisco Mint, and these 1978 proof dimes featured mirror-like fields and frosted devices, giving them a dramatic appearance. For collectors, these proof coins represent the highest quality version of the 1978 dime. While not rare, they remain an important part of the year's numismatic story because they show the artistry of the original Sinek design in its sharpest form. Beyond the technical and production aspects, the Roosevelt dime in 1978 also fits into the cultural and economic atmosphere of America at the time. The country was emerging from a decade filled with political shifts, economic troubles, and rapid social change. Everyday objects like coins often reflect the stability of national traditions, and seeing Roosevelt's face on the dime offered a sense of continuity. The March of Dimes also continued its mission, and the connection between Roosevelt and the fight against polio remained strong in public memory. The dime served not only as currency, but also as a reminder of Roosevelt's impact on public health and leadership in difficult times. For numismatists, studying the 1978 dime also means understanding how minting technology improved throughout the decade. The dies used to strike the coins were strong and precise, but constant pressure and high mintage demands meant that by late stages dies could show wear, which affected the sharpness of details. Some collectors enjoy examining coins to identify early die-state examples which show crisp detail compared to late dye state pieces, which may show faint flow lines or reduced sharpness. These subtle differences give collectors more depth to explore within a common year, like 1978. Another interesting aspect of the 1978 Roosevelt dime story is the expanding hobby of coin collecting during the late 20th century. With the rise of coin magazines, price guides, and organized clubs, more people were paying attention to their pocket change and learning about dates, mint marks, and varieties. Even though 1978 did not produce dramatic errors or rare varieties, a few minor issues like off-center strikes, die cracks, or slightly rotated dies occasionally appear, and these pieces attract special interest from collectors who enjoy the hunt for oddities. Such coins can transform an ordinary year of production into a rewarding discovery. As we move deeper into the historical context of the 1978 dime, the significance of the clad era becomes even clearer. By 1978, the silver era was long gone for circulation coins, and the economic logic of base metal construction had proven successful. The decision made in 1965 was still shaping the coins of the 1970s and beyond. The clad Roosevelt dime had become a standard, reliable, and easy-to-produce coin with a long lifespan. This stability ensured that the 1978 dime would continue circulating for decades, and even today many of these coins remain in pockets, purses, and cash registers across the United States. Collectors also view 1978 as part of a broader period in which the United States Mint was preparing for future changes, including the state quarter program redesigns and improvements in DI manufacturing. While these changes were still years away, the groundwork was being laid. The Roosevelt dime itself would remain unchanged visually over the coming years, but the Mint's behind-the-scenes technological advancements contributed to improved consistency and quality control. Understanding this broader timeline helps place the 1978 dime in the ongoing evolution of American coinage. Another important part of the story is the legacy of the Roosevelt dime as a whole. The design has remained in use longer than most other U.S. coin designs, and in 1978 it was already more than 3 decades old. This long-running design is a testament to Roosevelt's lasting influence, as well as to the aesthetic appeal of Sinek's work. Many Americans still see the dime as a tribute not only to Roosevelt but also to the nation's resilience during the mid-20th century. The dime has also become associated with charitable giving through the March of Dimes, which strengthened the emotional connection between the public and the coin. As the narrative of the 1978 dime continues, we can explore the role of coinage in everyday American life during the late 1970s. Grocery prices were rising, interest rates were high, and wages were shifting. But the dime continued to serve as a useful small denomination for vending machines, payphones, and daily purchases. Its compact size, durability, and convenience made it one of the most efficient coins in circulation. The presence of millions of 1978 dimes in pockets across the country reflects their usefulness in daily economic activity. In the world of numismatic study, the 1978 Roosevelt dime remains a collectible coin, not because of extreme rarity, but because it represents a stable year of production within a long-standing series. Collectors appreciate the consistency of the year, the availability of high-grade examples with some patience, and the ability to build complete date and mint mark sets that include 1978 as an essential piece. The coin also provides an opportunity to study the Mint's production capabilities during a decade of transition, modernization, and growth. As the journey of this historical narrative continues, one can reflect on how a simple piece of metal carries within it the story of a nation, its leadership, its technological progress, its economic conditions, and its cultural memories. The 1978 Roosevelt dime stands as a symbol of mid-20th century leadership, late 20th century modernization, and the enduring value of small everyday objects in understanding history. Through careful study and appreciation, this coin becomes more than a date. In a series, it becomes a window into American life in 1978 and a lasting reminder of the era in which it was struck.